everyone, and welcome to English Pod. My name is Marco.
My name is Catherine, and we've got an upper intermediate level lesson for you guys today. This one is all about a crime scene.
That's right. So we are going to be at a crime scene. We are with the police officers, and we're going to take a look at some very, very interesting and specific vocab to like police and a crime and all that.
That's right. So if you are a fan of the TV show CSI, or you like some of these investigation police work TV shows, this is a lesson for you.
That's right. So why don't we go and listen to the dialogue for the first time?
All right, Officer McGraw, give it to me straight. What are we looking at here?
Detective McGee, we're glad to see you. We could sure use your expertise on this one. It's a break-in, but nothing seems to have been stolen. We received a call from the Bear family at around 10:30 this morning. They'd gone out for a walk before breakfast and came home to this mess. Broken chairs and porridge all over the place. Apparently Mama Bear had made the porridge a little too hot, you see, and they were waiting for it to cool down.
Okay then, let's start examining the evidence. Have the forensics team been in yet?
Yes, sir. They found some fingerprints on the bowls and are analyzing them back at the lab as we speak. Hopefully they will be able to identify the burglar soon.
Aha! What's this? A strand of golden hair. This is a very important piece of trace evidence, McGraw. It tells me the suspect has long golden hair, and very few men have long golden hair. So our criminal could be a woman.
A woman? Was she working alone? Did she have an accomplice?
An accomplice? No, McGraw. She was definitely working alone. See here, there are footprints in the porridge. Here on the floor, small footprints. This tells me that our suspect is small, and could possibly be a child.
A child? Surely not, sir.
We must follow the clues, McGraw. The evidence doesn't lie. Now, let's reconstruct the crime. The suspect came in, sat in each chair, breaking the smallest one into little pieces. Next, the porridge. She obviously tried to eat it, and because it was so hot, she dropped it on the floor, making this mess. Interesting. These footprints seem to lead upstairs. McGraw, did your officers clear the scene?
Well, there was no one down here, and maybe we forgot to check upstairs.
Hey, what's with all the noise? I'm trying to sleep up here.
There she is. Get her!
All right, we're back. So a lot of interesting phrases there. They are obviously investigating a break-in.
Okay, a break-in, yeah. So someone broke into this family's house, so they have to investigate the evidence and some of the things that were left behind.
So now why don't we take a look on language takeaway, some of the specific words they used.
Language takeaway.
All right, the first word that we have is forensics, the forensics team.
Forensics team. So a forensics team is a team at a police department or a police station that studies the things that are left behind after a crime.
All right, so that team goes and collects the evidence.
So you could look at hair or fingerprints or footprints, things like that. A forensics team is kind of like a team that puts together puzzle pieces, trying to figure out what the story was.
So, as you said, the TV show CSI, the whole show revolves around, follows a group of forensic scientists who go to crime scenes and look at blood and different pieces of evidence that are left behind.
Very cool. So one piece of evidence that a forensics team might look at is a fingerprint.
That's right, a fingerprint. Or in the dialogue, we found fingerprints, the plural form.
Okay, so for example, if you go to a police station because the police think that you have committed a crime, the police will take your fingerprints. That means they'll put your fingers into ink, and they will make you push your fingers onto a piece of paper to see what your fingers look like.
That's right. So our fingerprints have a unique pattern. Everyone has different fingerprints. There are no two fingerprints alike in the world, right?
Right. So it's kind of like a form of identification.
Very good. That's right. So that is your fingerprint. So moving on, we talked about fingerprints now, the scientists who are investigating the crime scene, and they are talking about a very important piece of trace evidence.
Okay, well, let's look first at the second word there. We've got the word evidence. So evidence is something that is usually physical, like a piece of clothing or hair, that can be used against someone when we're trying to prove that they have committed a crime.
Right. So, for example, a weapon or fingerprints, all that is evidence.
Okay, so Marco, what's the difference between evidence and trace evidence?
Well, as you'd notice, you have the specific word there, trace. And to trace means to follow or
To connect, maybe.
to connect, right? So what you're doing here is you are taking this evidence to follow or connect the person that committed the crime. So, for example, fingerprints lets you know who committed the crime.
Oh, okay. Or maybe if you have blood, you can find out who did this crime.
Right.
But what about like a broken window?
Well, that's just evidence. That just lets you know how the crime was committed, maybe how they got into the house.
But not who did it.
But not who did it, right?
Okay, so trace evidence helps you connect the crime to the person who committed the crime.
And well, moving on, we found that very important piece of trace evidence, which was a piece of, or a strand of golden hair. And the police officer said, well, this tells me that the suspect has long golden hair. So, a suspect.
Okay, this word it looks exactly the same as the word to suspect. But be careful because we say these two words in different ways.
So, to suspect, that's a verb.
That's right. So, I suspect Marco did it. So that means I think or I imagine.
Right. Whereas a suspect, a noun, a suspect,
is a person. So the person who we think or the person who the police think committed a crime.
Ah, okay.
Okay, so for example, we're talking about some trace evidence like long blonde hair. That means the suspect is probably a woman and is probably blonde.
Very good. And it's interesting that you use the verb to suspect and a suspect, all because you're not sure yet. So this person may have committed the crime or may not.
That's right. So we have to wait until the trial. We have to wait until we prove this person is guilty before we can say that they actually committed the crime.
Very good. Okay. And well, you have a suspect, and usually you also have somebody who is an accomplice to the crime or to the suspect.
Okay, so a suspect, as we said, is a person. It's a noun. So is an accomplice. So accomplice is a suspect's helper.
Right. So basically, if you're robbing a bank and I wait outside in the car, right, while you're robbing the bank, then I am an accomplice.
That's right. And under most laws, you could be sentenced to jail.
Right. So the accomplice usually doesn't commit the crime, right? You robbed the bank, but I just waited outside in the car to drive you out. So I didn't rob the bank.
Right, but sometimes accomplices do also have guns and shoot people or
Right.
knives. So an accomplice is basically just the helper of the criminal, but they can get in trouble too.
Right. So basically, it's a person that helps out and knows about the crime, but didn't tell the police about it. Right?
Exactly.
That's a really important aspect. Okay. So a lot of interesting words there, all related to crimes. Why don't we move on now to a couple of different phrases that we have prepared for you on Fluency Builder.
Fluency Builder.
Okay, I like this first phrase. It's a phrase you might hear a lot actually in police shows. Give it to me straight.
Give it to me straight. Actually, also you can use it when you're just talking to someone and they're like hesitant, right? Like, I don't know how to tell you this, but
I'm not so sure. I don't think you're gonna like what I have to say.
so I can just say, okay, come on, just give it to me straight.
Okay, I don't like your shirt. No, I'm just kidding. It's a nice shirt. But what you're basically asking for is the person to say, be honest with me.
Be direct.
Be direct. Straight can mean both of those things. Honest or straightforward or quick. You don't want someone to go around and say lots of different things.
So I guess, yeah, that does make sense. Give it to me straight maybe comes from straightforward. So to be straightforward is to not hesitate to just say something directly and honestly.
Exactly.
Okay, so moving on to our next phrase, McGraw is talking about the bowls, and he said, well, they are analyzing them back at the lab as we speak.
As we speak. Okay, so this is actually a phrase that refers to time. So in this instance, what he's basically saying is right now. They're being analyzed right now or
Okay.
in this moment.
So it's a way of indicating that something is happening at this very moment.
Exactly. So I could say, did you know that the president is giving a speech as we speak?
Okay, so that means the president is talking right now.
Exactly.
As we speak. Okay, very good phrase. Now, moving on to our third phrase, Detective McGee was talking about reconstructing the crime. He said, let's reconstruct the crime.
Okay, so I don't know if any of you watch these crime TV shows like Dexter or CSI. This is my favorite part
Right.
because they tell you exactly what they believe happened. So to reconstruct means to build again or to recreate, to create again. So basically they start at the beginning and they pretend to follow what happened during
Right.
the crime.
So that's basically the verb to reconstruct, to rebuild, recreate. Okay, reconstruct the crime. Very good. And what about our last phrase?
Okay, so our last phrase is, again, a very typical police phrase. You hear this a lot when there's been a crime or on TV when they're talking about the scene of the crime. That means the place where the crime happened. And the police say, we need to clear the scene. Or, did the officers clear the scene? So to clear means to empty out.
Right, but they're not talking about emptying out the evidence or removing everything from the house. They're just saying to remove people, right?
Right.
Or obstructions.
Exactly. And why is it that a police officer would want to make all the people go away?
Well, because you don't want people stepping on the evidence or maybe putting their fingerprints all over the place.
Right. So it's very important that the officers, the police officers, clear the scene so that they can start their investigation.
Right. Very good. A lot of interesting phrases there. I think we should go back. Why don't we listen to the dialogue for the last time, and we'll come back and talk a little bit more about this really interesting topic.
All right, Officer McGraw, give it to me straight. What are we looking at here?
Detective McGee, we're glad to see you. We could sure use your expertise on this one. It's a break-in, but nothing seems to have been stolen. We received a call from the Bear family at around 10:30 this morning. They'd gone out for a walk before breakfast and came home to this mess. Broken chairs and porridge all over the place. Apparently Mama Bear had made the porridge a little too hot, you see. They were waiting for it to cool down.
Okay then, let's start examining the evidence. Have the forensics team been in yet?
Yes, sir. They found some fingerprints on the bowls and are analyzing them back at the lab as we speak. Hopefully they will be able to identify the burglar soon.
Aha! What's this? A strand of golden hair. This is a very important piece of trace evidence, McGraw. It tells me the suspect has long golden hair, and very few men have long golden hair. So our criminal could be a woman.
A woman? Was she working alone? Did she have an accomplice?
An accomplice? No, McGraw. She was definitely working alone. See here, there are footprints in the porridge. Here on the floor, small footprints. This tells me that our suspect is small, and could possibly be a child.
A child? Surely not, sir.
We must follow the clues, McGraw. The evidence doesn't lie. Now, let's reconstruct the crime. The suspect came in, sat in each chair, breaking the smallest one into little pieces. Next, the porridge. She obviously tried to eat it, and because it was so hot, she dropped it on the floor, making this mess. Interesting. These footprints seem to lead upstairs. McGraw, did your officers clear the scene?
Well, there was no one down here. And maybe we forgot to check upstairs.
Hey, what's with all the noise? I'm trying to sleep up here.
There she is! Get her!
So you mentioned a couple of different shows such as Dexter and CSI. Do you watch any of these shows?
I do. I'm a big fan of Dexter.
Dexter.
And Dexter, as you know, works at a police station in Miami, and his character is in forensics. He analyzes blood.
Right. He's like a blood expert.
Yes.
But it's interesting because he commits crimes himself. So he uses his knowledge to help him to not get caught.
Right. So he's both a criminal and he's a police officer.
But he's kind of like a superhero criminal, right? Because he doesn't kill for fun or pleasure. He just takes out people who kind of deserve it, right?
Yes, but he does kind of do it for pleasure because he's obsessed. He can't not kill. So instead of killing good people, he decides he will only ever kill bad people.
It's a really good show. I've watched a couple of episodes, and it's very, very good. The same as CSI. There are a couple of different versions. There's CSI Miami, New York, and Las Vegas. But my favorite is Las Vegas. It's very, very good.
And also Law and Order.
I've watched a couple of episodes of Law and Order. It's pretty good.
Yeah, they often talk about forensics because they have both parts. They have the police part and the law part with the lawyers who have to use the evidence in court. Very interesting.
And there's also, forensic scientists, they take a look at the evidence, but I think also they examine the body back at the morgue, right?
That's right. They look at the body to find out what happened to the body. This is all a part of reconstructing the crime.
So this person is also sometimes called a coroner, right?
Okay, the person who analyzes the body.
It's pretty scary though if you think about it, having to analyze a body. I don't know.
I think you have to be very experienced doctor.
It's a very interesting. I don't even know how somebody becomes a forensic scientist, for example.
Oh,
Do
you can go to school for it? Yeah, they have lots of forensic programs.
I think I saw on Discovery Channel they have a reality TV show about students, forensic students, and they're actually taken to real crime scenes, and then they get eliminated one by one.
I'll have to look it up. Well, I'm curious to know, have you ever heard of this before, forensic science or forensic anthropology? There are lots of people who study this and who do this as a job. And if you're not interested in that, maybe you could tell us about what kind of crime drama TV shows you like, because we certainly love them here. Our website is englishpod.com.
All right, we'll see everyone there.
Bye.
The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
Scientific test used in the investigation of crime. Forensics. Discover and define. Identify. A single length of. Strand. A person who helps another in committing a crime. Accomplice. Form a picture of a crime by piecing together evidence. Reconstruct. Tell me something directly and honestly. Give it to me straight. Think something is false. Suspect.
Let's try that faster.
Form a picture of a crime by piecing together evidence. Reconstruct. Think something is false. Suspect. Tell me something directly and honestly. Give it to me straight. A person who helps another in committing a crime. Accomplice. A single length of. Strand. Scientific test used in the investigation of crime. Forensics. Discover and define. Identify.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Give it to me straight. Give it to me straight, doctor. How long do I have to live? Give it to me straight. I want a shot of vodka. Give it to me straight. Give it to me straight. Give it to me straight. Is the steak delicious? Forensics. The forensics suggests she died from choking on a chicken bone. Forensics. We don't know how he was able to break into the bank. We must wait for the forensics. Forensics. Crime Scene Investigators is my favorite show. They really know how to study forensics. Reconstruct. The computer can reconstruct how the building used to look. Reconstruct. The doctor will attempt to reconstruct her nose. Reconstruct. After the storm, the family had to reconstruct their house. Suspect. The main suspect in the robbery is your brother. Suspect. She is the main suspect for the cookie thief. Suspect. From the size of the footprint, the suspect is a child. Identify. The police used the computer to identify the young woman. Identify. Use this picture to identify the missing dog. Identify. After watching the video, the cops were able to identify the bandits within a few hours.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to English Pod. My name is Marco.
My name is Catherine, and today we have a very serious dialogue for you.
That's right. We are going to talk about a will and testament, the last will and testament of someone.
All right, so what is a will and testament? Well, basically, this is a document that someone writes, usually with a lawyer, that explains what to do with the person's body and their possessions, their things, after they die.
Right.
So many people write these, and the family will then use it to discover who gets to receive certain objects and what to do with this person's body.
Right. Exactly. So that is a last will and testament. We are going to take a look at an example of one so you would see more or less in English how one is written. Now, obviously, they can be very long and very complex. So we've taken one that has some interesting words there that are a little bit more specific, a lot of legal terms there. So why don't we listen to this dialogue for the first time, and we'll be back shortly.
Last Will and Testament of Luke Thompson. I, Luke Thompson, residing in California, being of sound mind, do hereby declare this instrument to be my last will and testament. I hereby revoke all previous wills and codicils. I direct that the disposition of my remains be as follows. I am to be cremated and taken to the summit of Mount Everest, where my ashes will forever remain at the ceiling of the earth. I give all the rest and residue of my estate to my spouse, Betty Thompson, should she survive me for 60 days. If my spouse, Betty Thompson, does not survive me, I give all the rest and residue of my estate to English Pod. If neither Betty Thompson nor English Pod survives me, I give all the rest and residue of my estate to my heirs as determined by the laws of the state of California relating to descent and distribution. I appoint Robert Porter to act as the executor of this will, to serve without bond. Should Robert Porter be unable or unwilling to serve, then I appoint Jason Smalls to act as the executor of this will. I herewith affix my signature to this will on this, the 23rd of May, 2010, in the presence of the following witnesses, who witnessed and subscribed this will at my request and in my presence.
All right, we're back. So now we're going to take a look at 5 key words on language takeaway.
Language takeaway.
Okay, the first word here in language takeaway comes from the very beginning of this, monologue. We're reading the last will and testament aloud. I, Luke Thompson, residing in California, being of sound mind. Sound as an adjective. What does this mean?
That's very interesting. So he says, I am in sound mind. And sound is an adjective to describe I am in a good state of mind.
That's right. So it means not having any problems or logical or unaffected.
Basically, I'm not crazy, right?
Right. I'm not crazy. I don't have any problems. We can say this about other things too. We can say he's of sound body.
Right. That means that he is healthy. He has no problems with his body.
Or I could say, Marco, that's a really good decision. It's a sound decision.
So again, that's also a way of saying good or
it will work.
It will work. It's a good decision.
Feasible.
Yeah. So you can use this adjective with sound body, sound mind, or a sound decision. Or sometimes some people even say, I think in Ireland, they say, oh, he's a really sound guy.
Oh, so he's a good guy.
He's a good guy.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Learned something.
So sound body, sound mind, sound guy. Moving on, he was talking about the will, and he says, I hereby revoke all previous wills and codicils.
The verb here is to revoke.
To revoke.
This is something that a lot of people hear in America when they drive their car too fast.
Yeah.
The police catch them, and the police revoke their driver's license.
And that basically means to take away.
That's
or
right.
To take, right?
To take away from. So this man here, Luke Thompson, what he's saying is, I revoke all previous wills. That means any other will that I wrote before, it's not good anymore.
Right.
I'm throwing it away. This is the only one that will exist.
So you can use this word revoke with many aspects. For example, sometimes employees will get their benefits revoked by the company because maybe they don't have enough money anymore.
Or maybe they're bad employees.
Or maybe they were bad employees.
That's too bad.
All right, so to revoke. Now, moving on, he was talking about his estate. So this is very interesting because he says, I give all the rest and residue of my estate to my spouse.
Okay, estate, it sounds like a very fancy word. It is a fancy word. Sometimes we use this word to mean someone's property, their house. But in a will, this means everything the person owns. House, car, things, pets, stocks, investments. The estate is essentially everything the person owns as a kind of one unit.
Right, exactly. So anything that is yours or you may have bought, just consider the estate is a big bag, right? That's your estate. And inside this bag is everything that you own.
You might see advertisements, in fact, in America or in England for estate sales. This means that when someone passes away, when they die, their family will sell their things, and this is an estate sale. You can find beautiful, interesting things at estate sales.
Exactly. Very interesting. So that is a person's estate. Now remember, this is in the legal terms because you also have other things like real estate and, as you mentioned, which would be a house, right? Okay. Now, apart from his estate, he was telling everyone as to how they should take care of his body or what they should do with it. And he said, well, I am to be cremated.
Okay, this is important. When a person dies, there are generally two options. Their body can be buried in a casket in the ground. That means they're put in the earth. But a lot of people choose to be cremated.
All right.
Okay, that means that their body will be burned. And their ashes, that means the things that are left after they are burned, they will be taken somewhere else.
Right.
Like in a bowl or a pot.
Right. And in this case, that's what the person wants. He wants to be cremated. So that would be the verb to cremate. And the noun would be a cremation.
Cremation. And what is going to happen to all this stuff? Basically, it's going to be given away to his wife, to English Pod, and to his heirs. This is our next word. What is an heir?
Now, if you notice, the H is silent there, so his heirs. And those are basically his children, his daughters or his sons.
Right. My heirs are the people who are related to me, who, in this case, will receive some of my things.
Now, is it only the children, or also it could be maybe any other relatives?
It could be any other relative. You could say, I'm his heir, he's my great uncle. Means we're related, but we're not necessarily father and daughter or grandfather and granddaughter. an heir is someone who is related to the family. It doesn't have to be a certain relationship.
And now it's interesting because from this word we can get inheritance. Now we didn't find it in the dialogue, so it's very interesting because they're very similar in spelling, right? Inheritance and heir.
Right. Good to remember.
Yeah, good to remember. You switch the E and the I's, right?
That's right. So inheritance is a thing. You can receive this. So I received an inheritance from my great-grandmother. That means I received some money or some things.
And that means you were that person's heir.
That's right.
Okay.
Or, in his inheritance, he received a large house. He was the heir to a great fortune.
Okay, interesting. So again, inheritance wasn't in the dialogue, but I think it's worth mentioning. And I think now we can move on to 4 very interesting items that we have for you on Fluency Builder.
Okay, these first 2 are words that we normally read or hear in legal documents, and I want to place emphasis on the fact that we don't really say them in spoken English. So remember that these are more formal terms.
Yeah.
The first one is hereby.
Hereby.
I hereby declare.
Right.
That means now.
Now.
With this word, with this spoken sentence, this will happen.
I think we've seen it like in movies sometimes. It's like, I hereby declare this country in the name of England.
I hereby declare you man and wife.
Exactly. Okay.
That means in this moment, this happens.
Okay. And a very similar word that we also saw in the dialogue is herewith.
So in the will and testament, we hear Luke Thompson who says, I herewith affix my signature. That means with the action of signing my name, signing my signature, this will be completed. Okay. So I herewith, you have to have an action, not just a word.
Okay,
That's
so
the difference.
I herewith
attach my seal. Okay, a seal is like a stamp, very common in the old days when you had real letters. But I herewith attach my seal and give my approval to this document.
Okay, so it has to be something physical.
Yeah.
Right? So if maybe you're writing like this very classic letter and you say, I herewith include a lock of my hair.
Ooh, how romantic.
Okay, that's kind of creepy, but but you're including or attaching physically, right? I guess the modern version of herewith would be attach.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Herewith, hereby. We've got another phrase here that you might hear more commonly. At the beginning of the will and testament, there's a phrase, as follows, okay? I direct that the disposition of my remains be as follows. So, with my body, do as follows.
So, basically, this is a very common way of putting this in a sentence to indicate that you're going to start to list items.
That's right, or give instructions.
Give instructions.
So, for example, to make a loaf of bread, do as follows. Number 1, get some flour. Number 2, add some water. So this is a way for us to say, listen, I'm going to give you instructions or a list. Pay attention. So please do as follows. Please act as follows.
Okay, very good. And our last word that we have here, going back to herewith, he said, I herewith affix my signature. What does it mean when you affix?
Okay, affix is a word we have a number of other words for these days, so you rarely hear it. It means to attach or to include.
Okay, so I herewith affix my signature would be attach my signature.
Right, I provide my signature, or I herewith affix my address, or I herewith affix something.
Okay, very good. Really interesting stuff. You'll obviously see this very commonly with legal documents such as these. Even though it is like older English, it's still very commonly used. I guess because the law is so old.
That's right, definitely. And I think that it's worth listening to today's monologue one more time. Think about some of the words that we've just discussed, and we'll be back in a moment.
Last Will and Testament of Luke Thompson. I, Luke Thompson, residing in California, being of sound mind, do hereby declare this instrument to be my last will and testament. I hereby revoke all previous wills and codicils. I direct that the disposition of my remains be as follows. I am to be cremated and taken to the summit of Mount Everest, where my ashes will forever remain at the ceiling of the earth. I give all the rest and residue of my estate to my spouse, Betty Thompson, should she survive me for 60 days. If my spouse, Betty Thompson, does not survive me, I give all the rest and residue of my estate to English Pod. If neither Betty Thompson nor English Pod survives me, I give all the rest and residue of my estate to my heirs as determined by the laws of the state of California relating to descent and distribution. I appoint Robert Porter to act as the executor of this will, to serve without bond. Should Robert Porter be unable or unwilling to serve, then I appoint Jason Smalls to act as the executor of this will. I herewith affix my signature to this will on this, the 23rd of May, 2010, in the presence of the following witnesses, who witnessed and subscribed this will at my request and in my presence.
All right, we're back. So this is a very interesting topic. Now, I wonder, within the will or within the estate, do you also acquire a person's debts?
Ah, that's a good question.
Because I know in some countries you do, in some countries you don't. I know in like some cases, some heirs have found themselves in some legal problems because all of a sudden they inherited that person's debts and stuff like that.
I think that does happen, especially for people whose properties are mortgaged. For example, if your uncle has a house and he didn't pay for it with cash, he has a mortgage, and he dies, and you inherit this house, you also inherit the mortgage.
Yeah.
So sometimes inheritances are not always a good thing. I think this happened more in the past. There are more protections and safeguards for people today.
Right.
But definitely, I mean, what is it like in Ecuador? Do people inherit a debt?
Yeah, I think obviously most banks, when they give out loans or a mortgage, they have somebody that will kind of co-sign on these things. And I imagine, I'm not really very sure, but I know that if you inherit an estate that has a mortgage, you are forced to pay it. And if you can't, then they will make that other person who co-signed it responsible if he still exists. I don't know. In these legal systems, it's sometimes very strange because it seems like there would be a lot of gaps.
That's right, and everyone wants to protect themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
So we've got the bank that wants to protect itself. It gives a loan. It wants the money back.
Right.
And a person who wants to protect himself from maybe a relative who dies and has debt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm curious to know what our users have to say. What is the situation in your country? Do most people have a will and testament? What happens with debt?
Or what happens if somebody dies and they don't have a will and testament?
That's a good question, too. I don't have an answer for that one.
All right, so let us know, and we'll give you guys some information on that as well. EnglishPod.com. We'll see everyone there.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
Live in a place permanently. Reside. Free from disease or injury, in good condition. Sound. By means of or as a result of this. Hereby. A paper made to settle property after one's death. Last will and testament. The body of a dead person. Remains. The highest point, top. Summit. Everything you own, all your assets. Estate. Choose someone to do a particular job. Appoint. Add or append. Affix. To sign at the end of the will or contract. Subscribe. A person's partner in marriage. Spouse. Cancel. Revoke.
Let's try that faster.
The body of a dead person. Remains. Cancel. Revoke. Choose someone to do a particular job. Appoint. A person's partner in marriage. Spouse. To sign at the end of the will or contract. Subscribe. Add or append. Affix. A paper made to settle property after one's death. Last will and testament. Free from disease or injury, in good condition. Sound. The highest point, top. Summit. By means of or as a result of this. Hereby. Live in a place permanently. Reside. Everything you own, all your assets. Estate.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Revoke. His driving license was revoked by the police. Revoke. My parents revoked my phone privileges. Revoke. The court decided to revoke the terrorist's citizenship. Remains. The remains were transferred to the morgue. Remains. A cemetery has the remains of many people. Remains. The police covered the remains with a white sheet. Estate. Bill Gates' estate is valued at over $1 billion. Estate. A person's estate is comprised of all assets which are held in the descendant's name alone. Estate. The family divided the estate equally among everyone. Hereby. I hereby declare you husband and wife. Hereby. I hereby resign as President of the United States. Hereby. We hereby commit to obeying the laws of this country. Appoint. The President appointed me as the Vice President. Appoint. My teacher appointed me as the classroom monitor. Appoint. He was appointed as the child's legal guardian.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English Pod. My name is Marco.
My name is Catherine, and today we have an elementary level lesson about food, one of my favorite things to talk about.
That's right. We are going to talk about food, but specifically, we're going to talk about a family barbecue.
Okay, what is a family barbecue? Well, I'll just say a few words first. A barbecue is usually something that we do outside. We bring food, we play games, maybe have some drinks, and a lot of the food is grilled. So that's what we're talking about today. We're going to hear this dialogue first, and then we'll come back to talk about it.
Is everything ready for the big family barbecue tomorrow?
Yep, the steaks and chicken are marinated, and I also bought hamburger buns.
We should also cook a couple dozen hot dogs and kebabs.
Yeah, good idea. We could put some lawn furniture outside next to the grill. I also set up the tent outside so we can hide from the sun if it gets too hot.
Great! I asked Grace to bring cups and serviettes, as she is also bringing 2 big coolers for the beers.
This is going to be a great barbecue.
Oh no, it's raining!
All right, we're back. So probably a couple of words you didn't really understand. So let's take a look at those now in language takeaway.
Language takeaway.
Lots of food words, Marco. The first one is barbecue. We were talking about that a minute ago. A barbecue is something we do usually for something, a special occasion or for dinner. It's a summertime thing. You know, you go outside when it's warm and the entire family comes and we have food. Sometimes people even bring food.
Right. And actually, as you mentioned, it's something that you do a barbecue. You have a family barbecue, but it's also a verb to barbecue something. So to cook meat on a barbecue. So that's cooking meat, not in a stove, not with gas. Usually it's under a fire or very warm, intense heat coming from coals.
Exactly. And so before we cook food, usually before we cook meat on the grill, before we barbecue it, we have to marinate it. Okay? So in this situation, the steaks and the chicken are already marinated.
Okay. So to marinate something which is a verb, or the steaks and chickens are marinated, which is an adjective. So basically means that you have added spices and maybe some lemon juice, different herbs or salts to the meats in order to give it flavor before you cook them.
Exactly. Sometimes in Indian cooking, for example, you marinate with a yogurt sauce and you leave the meat in the refrigerator for a whole night.
Exactly.
So marinating or to marinate is a process to give flavor to food.
Very good. All right, so we've marinated our food, our chicken, our steaks, but also we have hamburgers, so we need hamburger buns. What are buns?
Okay, buns are pieces of bread that are for special kinds of food. So you have a hamburger bun. It's a round piece of bread, and the hamburger goes on one piece and under another piece. A hot dog bun is different. It's like a piece of bread that's folded, and the hot dog goes in the middle. So bun is a special kind of bread for these kinds of foods.
All right, so remember, if you want to have a hot dog, you need to buy hot dog buns. So people know already that you're talking about bread. And if you want to buy a hamburger bread, you say a hamburger bun.
That's right. So hamburger buns and hot dog buns. But after we talk about having the hamburger buns, we discuss how many hot dogs we're going to cook. So the person says we should cook a couple dozen hot dogs.
All right, so a dozen is 12 units of something.
Right, so eggs are sold in dozens. We buy a dozen eggs, we buy 12 eggs.
Okay, or you can say half a dozen, that means 6.
Half of 12. And a couple dozen is usually around 24, 25.
Okay, very good. So a dozen hot dogs, and they are also getting kebabs. What are kebabs?
One of my favorite foods, kebabs, are sticks or skewers of meat. So you have a very thin stick and you put the meat on it and you put that on the grill and you cook the meat on the grill.
So, yeah, those are very common. For example, in the Middle East, right? You have kebabs, sticks of meat, and also maybe some vegetables put on it, and you grill them.
Exactly. Very flavorful, very tasty meat.
All right, so why don't we listen to our dialogue again, and we'll come back shortly to look at some more words.
Is everything ready for the big family barbecue tomorrow?
Yep, the steaks and chicken are marinated, and I also bought hamburger buns.
We should also cook a couple dozen hot dogs and kebabs.
Yeah, good idea. We could put some lawn furniture outside next to the grill. I also set up the tent outside so we can hide from the sun if it gets too hot.
Great! I asked Grace to bring cups and serviettes, as she is also bringing 2 big coolers for the beers.
This is going to be a great barbecue.
All right, we're back. So now why don't we go to a second part of language takeaway and take a look at 5 more words.
Language takeaway.
All right, the first word that we're going to look at is lawn furniture. So we're going to have lawn furniture outside.
Okay, so before we even start thinking about food, we have to decide where people will sit at this barbecue. And so we have to find out how much lawn furniture we have. Furniture can be a sofa, a table, a chair. We have furniture in the house, but lawn furniture is furniture for the outside. A lawn is
Right.
the green grass outside your house.
So it's usually not going to be made out of wood, for example, because if it rains, it might get ruined, right? So usually it's either plastic or maybe even rock or stone.
or metal.
Or metal. So that's what lawn furniture is. Furniture that is made to be outside in your backyard, for example, or that sits on your lawn.
Exactly. And so we're going to be on the lawn furniture. We have the special thing for cooking meat outside, the grill.
Okay, so we mentioned that you grill chicken or you grill steaks, but it's also a noun, a grill. So a grill, what is that?
A grill is like a stove for the outside, but instead of having electricity to make the fire, we have gas or propane. And this is something that we light on fire. We use coals to keep the insides very warm. And so this is just a way to cook meats or even vegetables outside.
Okay, perfect. So that is a grill. And if you're going to cook foods or vegetables in this way, so you're going to grill them. All right. And well, just in case it gets hot and you want to hide from the sun, we are going to set up a tent.
Okay, a tent, you can sleep in a tent, but in this case, a tent is just a covering outside. So maybe some cloth or some fabric that will stand over us when we sit down or want to be outside. It's also a way to protect us from the rain.
Right. So as you mentioned, a tent is something that you set up temporarily made out of cloth or plastic to protect you from the sun or rain, or if you're going camping, you sleep in one. All right, and now that they have all the food, they need cups, and then they mentioned this strange word. It kind of sounds French, serviettes.
Serviettes. So I do think it comes from the French word. This is a British way of saying napkins.
A
so
napkin.
It's like paper for cleaning your hands and cleaning your mouth that you throw away.
Okay, so you can say napkins, or if you want to sound a little bit more fancier, you can say serviettes.
And speaking of fancy, let's talk about beer. Where do we keep beer? It has to stay cold, right?
Right, so usually you would place it in a refrigerator, but if you're outside or you're going camping, you want to keep them cold or you want to keep something hot. You place it in a cooler.
Okay, so a cooler is a plastic bin or a plastic box that we put all of the ice in and the drinks. So it's not just for beer, it's also for Coke and Sprite and all these different drinks.
Right, so it's usually made to keep something cool, but as I said, if you want to keep something warm, you can also keep it in the cooler. It keeps the temperature of the foods.
And the nice thing is that it's not electric, so you can use it anywhere.
Right. All right, so that's all the words for today. Why don't we listen to our dialogue for the last time?
Is everything ready for the big family barbecue tomorrow?
Yep, the steaks and chicken are marinated, and I also bought hamburger buns.
We should also cook a couple dozen hot dogs and kebabs.
Yeah, good idea. We could put some lawn furniture outside next to the grill. I also set up the tent outside so we can hide from the sun if it gets too hot.
Great! I asked Grace to bring cups and serviettes, as she is also bringing 2 big coolers for the beers.
This is going to be a great barbecue.
Oh no, it's raining!
All right, we're back. So family barbecues and doing these things. Did you do these when you were young at home? Do you still like to do it?
All the time. I love barbecues. That's one of my favorite ways to eat food. The nice thing about a barbecue is you get to sit outside and relax, and there's nothing better than nice, fresh grilled meat.
Right, and well, you have all your friends over, so you're having a couple of beers and you're having some meat, and it's actually a really nice way of just having something at home with good friends and family, right?
Exactly, and some of the most important barbecues we have are in the summer near July 4th. And so people like to have July 4th barbecues where you celebrate Independence Day and sit outside and drink and have hot dogs and hamburgers and macaroni and cheese.
Actually, well, I was in Chile. I noticed that as well. Near their festivities for their independence, which is September 18th, a lot of people get together and have barbecues, and it's so popular that pretty much much every house in the neighborhood, you can smell somebody barbecuing on the weekend.
You're making me so hungry.
All right, guys. So if you have any questions, any doubts, or if it's common for you guys to barbecue back home, then why don't you send us a couple of comments at englishpod.com, and we'll see everyone there.
Bye.
Bye. The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
A meal cooked out of doors over an open fire. Barbecue. Be soaked in marinade. Marinate. A group of 12. Dozen. Pieces of roasted meat, fish, and vegetables on a skewer. Kebab. Utensil with a metal grate, parallel metal bars, for cooking over a fire. Grill. Portable shelter of canvas held up by poles, rope, and pegs. Tent. A small square of cloth or paper. Serviette. A container, vessel, or apparatus for cooling. Cooler. Furniture intended for use outside in the yard. Lawn furniture. A round bun shaped to hold a hamburger patty. Hamburger bun.
Let's try that faster.
A round bun shaped to hold a hamburger patty. Hamburger bun. A meal cooked out of doors over an open fire. Barbecue. A container, vessel, or apparatus for cooling. Cooler. Be soaked in marinade. Marinate. Utensil with a metal grate, parallel metal bars, for cooking over a fire. Grill. Portable shelter of canvas held up by poles, rope, and pegs. Tent. Pieces of roasted meat, fish, and vegetables on a skewer. Kebab. Furniture intended for use outside in the yard. Lawn furniture. A group of 12. Dozen. A small square of cloth or paper. Serviette.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Barbecue. How about we have a barbecue tomorrow night? Barbecue. In the summertime at dinner, there is always the smell of someone in our neighborhood having a barbecue. Barbecue. Can you smell the barbecue? My mouth is watering. Marinate. Marinated steaks are much more tasty and juicier than regular steaks. Marinate. The only thing I know about my friend's secret recipe is that she marinates the chicken breasts overnight. Marinate. Marinating meat makes the meat more tender. Lawn furniture. We have a whole bunch of lawn furniture and a swimming pool in our backyard. Lawn furniture. The home store down the road is having a sale on lawn furniture. Lawn furniture. The party ended abruptly when people started throwing the lawn furniture into the pool. Grill. My favorite food is steak done on the grill. Grill. After you finish cutting up the vegetables, wrap them in some aluminum foil and place it on top of the grill. Grill. You should always clean the grill after you use it. Cooler. We brought a cooler with us to the beach so that we could keep the drinks and the sandwich meat cold. Cooler. He filled up a cooler with ice and then placed the medical specimen carefully inside. Cooler. When we go camping, we always have a cooler or two to keep food cold.